Hey guys, it's Outbreak 503 here. So we're back and we're gonna do part 2. And here's the other pump I was talking about, the one that we're gonna disassemble. Alright, here's the one we pulled out. So we're gonna put one of these dumps onto here and get rid of these old red stumps. And next week we got the chrome tank coming in, and I'm gonna have to order chrome motor, or at least the chrome sleeve. Um, so here we're gonna take these hoses off right here, and then we'll take off the slowdown right here, and then that'll allow us to spin this around and take this off the block. And then we're gonna do the same thing over here, except this one I believe has a cheater. So this is just a swivel, so you can just take that off and this T will be released, and then this will be able to come off right after. So I got my tools here. You just need open end wrenches and a crescent wrench, and as soon as I get this taken off, we'll be back. So guys, here's what it looks like without the hoses connected. The next step, we're gonna take this slow down off, like I said, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright guys, so now with the T off, it's gonna allow us to spin this whole T and the circle without the dumps hitting this where the T was, so we can remove these dumps here. Otherwise this would not come off, and it would just be a pain in the ass to screw this, move this, screw this, move this, screw this, move this. You'd be here for a good 30 minutes. So the best way is take off the T and spin this, and you have both your dumps come off at the same time. So we're gonna take this off real quick and we'll come right back. Here we are. It's been off now, and just want you guys to see that this pump was full of oil. I did not know this came from a club member of mine, and it came out of one of his buddy's old mini trucks. Pump's been sitting in the garage for about 10 years, so of course everything needs to be replaced. So now we're gonna move on and disassemble the chrome pump now, and we're gonna go from there. Alright guys, so we got this up here on the table, and just want to show you guys that with this swivel it's gonna be easier. So I'll just loosen this and take the hoses off from here, and here both these dumps will come off as one. You do not need to remove this when it's like this, but I may get rid of this time because it's kind of a cheater, and your dumps happen to come loose and start leaking sometimes. So we will leave the slow down because we will be using it again. As for this one, I will be putting the slow down back on, but first we need to get this taken apart so we can assemble the dumps individually onto these pumps. So let me take this apart and then we'll come back. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys here, like I said, this swivels, so as you can see, it makes this all loose. I got these loose, so we'll just release the hose here, and loosen this up right here. Wrong way. Alright, so loosen it up right here. And just like that. That's why I have these rags here, so oil doesn't get everywhere. Alright, so now with this disassembled, I'm gonna take the dumps apart. So they can be ready to put on individually. Just gonna clean all this oil up here because don't need it getting in places it doesn't belong. So yeah, as soon as I have those dumps assembled and ready to go back on, I'll show you how they go on and the right way they should be, and we'll go from there. Thank you guys. Alright you guys, so I just want to show you now that the dumps are taken apart and away from each other. If you have body use pump and you're taking it apart to replace something, or if you're watching this video to assemble and see how a single dump is assembled correctly, I just want you to see that you should always remove old Teflon tape. Do not tape over it. It will leak. And yes, you do need Teflon tape because the oil will come up and seep through the threads with the pressure, and you will end up leaking all over your trunk. And I don't think anybody likes cleaning up oil spills. The next thing we're gonna do is this needs to be moved to here and the elbow needs to be moved up here, and the reason why is because if you saw in my last video, my dump was turned sideways like this, but that is for a front pump. It's a little bit different. So when you have it up like this on a rear pump, you want the elbow up here, so that way when the oil shoots up, it shoots up and into the cylinder, and when it retracts, it comes in, down, and around to the straight, and that will lead your return line back down through the slowdown. So I'm gonna take off this Teflon tape and switch these around, and we'll come back and I'll show you guys where we're at. Alright guys, so here we are, we're back and have the fittings off. They're laying right here. I have already went ahead and put new Teflon tape on and taken all the old ones off. So now all the oil's out of what was left in the dump, and it's about time to assemble the pumps. So as soon as I'm ready and I have the pump on the table and put these fittings on where I showed you, I'll show you how the pump goes together. Also, if you have not had your check valve, I want you guys to see that your check valve, the ball should always be facing down. So when you put it in, the ball should be facing down in the pressure port. The reason for that being is if it is not, when you hit your switch up, it will blow an O-ring and cause your gear to jam, and you risk breaking that. And $10 for a check valve versus a new gear and the O-ring, I think you're better off putting your check valve right. Other than that, we'll be right back. Alright you guys, so this is going to be a quick little mock-up before I put them together. So what you're going to do first is you're going to take your dump, and this one right here that says pressure is the one you're going to put it into. If you do not know which one is pressure or return because your block is not marked, the best way is to make sure your tank is empty and take off the cap right here, and whichever one you blow into and you get airflow through, that's going to be your return. The pressure is going to be the one that you blow into and it is blocked. So that being said, this is going to go onto here, and once you get that on and all the way tightened, you're going to go ahead and take this and you're going to want to put it on. You might have to take off the knob right here Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Most of the time you do have to take it off. So you take off the knob and you tighten it all the way, and then you just put your knob back. So once you have these on, what you're gonna do is you're gonna add your elbow up here and your straight pipe here. You want to run your hose from the straight pipe here and a loop, and this will obviously be facing this way, and it will be going into here, and that'll be your return. So I'm gonna go ahead and assemble these, and as soon as they're done, I'll get back to you guys and show you what the finished product looks like.